I always get mixed up. There's 50 vehicles for she is. So he is travelling overall, I think, for Fletcher Building, and she's Fletcher Construction. That's what that is.
Here, the junior bar. Yeah. It's junior buddy.
Well, good morning everyone. Welcome to the Spark Conference Centre here in Auckland. I'm Scotty Stevenson, and today we are thrilled to be here for this exciting announcement. I'd like to particularly welcome all of our friends here and many of my colleagues from the media, all great supporters of sport here in New Zealand, and what a time to be bringing this announcement to you as we are on the eve of returning to Level 1 in Tamaki Makaurau. So kia ora koutou everyone. Welcome to the sponsors and stakeholders that are here for today's big announcement. It's great to have you with us. Founded in 2004, Juco Events has earned a reputation for creating, delivering and underwriting innovative sports, entertainment and corporate events. Widely known as promoters of numerous high-profile corporate events with international speakers such as Sir Richard Branson, Sir Bob Geldof, Andre Agassi, Gordon Ramsay, and local national heroes such as Sir Graham Henry, Richard McCaw and Dan Carter, Juco have also been the innovators of massive and brand new sporting events such as the NRL Auckland Nines, the Brisbane Global Rugby 10s, Fight for Life and the T20 Black Clash. And of course are the promoters and more recently the management team of Joseph Parker. Without taking any of the thunder from today's special announcement, I'd like to now introduce Juco Events' original founder and director, David Higgins. David.
All right, so thank you everyone for coming today. Appreciate being here at this time. As you can see, we're adhering to government regulations for safety still. As Scott mentioned, I'm David Higgins from Juco Events, and I'm here to announce and confirm that Joseph Parker versus Junior Wha is finally happening on Friday, 11 December at Spark Arena in Auckland, New Zealand. Personally, I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with boxing. It's caused me a lot of stress. I've got a sense of deja vu standing here. 12 years ago, it was Tua Cameron. I was an unlikely lad trying to promote the biggest fight in New Zealand history. People said it couldn't happen. I'd go bankrupt. I nearly did, but the rest was history. It set a record. I was so scared of the media that I paid Ian Fraser to front the media for me, and he did a good job. But since then, we've had a wonderful relationship with Joseph Parker and his family. We've won 2 world titles in boxing. It's taken us all over the world. I had a few death threats along the way, and it saved our company then, and maybe it's going to do it again now. So it's sort of deja vu. Here we are again, still an unlikely lad, with still not much money, but trying to give it a crack again. So, you know, we've had no events for 8 months. During this pandemic, but I'm not alone. I think many New Zealand businesses are suffering, and also around the world. And so I think New Zealand's handled the situation well. It's great to be going back to Level 1 tomorrow, I think, and so we've got to give kudos to the government because it's it's hard to make decisions under those circumstances. So I think collectively as business people, we can't give up. We've got to fight our way out and try and think of ways to stay in business and employ people. We're all in it together, and that's kind of how this came about. There's been a lot of collaboration, cooperation, and people that have helped make this happen. So this particular matchup, believe it or not, will be a global event. Could be watched by 1 billion people in 100 countries. So we've had to negotiate and get the backing of Eddie Hearn Matchroom Boxing out of London. That's Joseph Parker's promoter. And they're going to distribute the event globally on live television. And, similarly, Lou DiBella, Junior Far's promoter, is based out in New York. And both of them deserve our acknowledgement and thanks for coming to the table. And then Mark Cadell, Junior's manager, I've known 12 years, very good businessman in his own right, and look forward to working with Mark. Why is this the biggest fight in New Zealand history? Well, I've actually now qualified to make that statement, the biggest fight in New Zealand history. You've got Joseph Parker, who's a household name now, a living legend now, WBO world champion for a year or two there, still ranked number 3. And I'm very grateful to Joseph Parker and his family for their faith in me, and I'd like to thank his father for praying for me every Sunday, wherever you are, Dempsey. Junior Far, he's a lovely, humble guy also, and he's taller, he's got longer reach. They fought twice as amateurs with 2 wins each. Now they're fighting for the first time as professionals. So Junior's current WBO world number 6, and we're grateful to Junior and his team for stepping up. So this is about, for me, this promotion is about collaboration, cooperation, getting everyone together, a can-do attitude. We're all in it together. A lot of people have taken risks to make this happen. It could be one of the first major events like this in the world with crowds. We're celebrating Kiwi, Samoan, Tongan athleticism. The event's about diversity. It's making a statement about New Zealand coming back after the pandemic as a world leader. It's a great story there. And so anyway, a few thank yous and acknowledgements really to my Aria for her support, to my own Duco team who have worked really hard, and that's past and present Duco employees who've been through a lot to help us make this happen and to get here. Rachel Carroll, our CEO in Australia. We've set a level playing field so that the best man can win. And then finally, I want to acknowledge the Chow family and Stonewood Homes, who were the last piece of the puzzle. If it wasn't for Stonewood Homes, we wouldn't be standing here today. They've stepped up to sponsor the boxing event, and a lot of companies are a bit scared to sponsor boxing, but this is going to create jobs, profile for New Zealand, economic development, enjoyment, good role models, etc. So the Chow brothers and Vicky have stepped up, Stonewood Homes, and we're very grateful to them also, and I'll let them speak about what they do. I think John Chow is going to jump up and have a few words, so thank you very much.
Thank you, David. As David has mentioned, the Chow brothers, along with their sister Vicky, have been great supporters of this event, and I'd like to invite John Chow to come to the lectern now to speak on behalf of Stonewood Homes. John.
Thank you, everyone. That was back in June when we got a call from Dave, arranged a lunch and asked for me and our company sponsor the boxing. That was the middle of just after this first lockdown and before the second lockdown, and we have a nice lunch, and then I was thinking whether I should sponsor. And then, but I have only given one condition, is that the fight need to be on the 12th or 11th October, which is my this Sunday, my 50-year birthday. Of the COVID that have delayed, and which is been in December. One of the reasons I like to sponsor the boxing is I'm a fighter, and Michael, my brother, also fight, and we love fighting. And we love, as a business, we love to turn impossible to possible. That's where we're proud to sponsor Parker and David for this event. It's a very purpose. And for Stonewood Home, we are the one of the largest home quick builder around the country. Since 1987, we built about 7,000 houses with 20 franchisees. And one of the challenging for this sponsor is not for me, is I need to convince Michael, my brother, that the deal is a good deal. After a couple long discussions, he signed off. But again, thank you everyone support, and I'm looking for the fight on December 11th. And thank you again, David and Parker, for your support.
Thanks very much, John. Thank you to your family for the support of this event. And just a reminder of that date, Joseph Parker v Junior Far, brought to you by Stonewood Homes, Friday, December 11, Spark Arena in Auckland. And this will be New Zealand's fight of the century. A big day for David, a big day for Duco Events, but it's also a big day for Junior Far and his management team. Mark Adele is at the top table with us today, a former athlete himself. He knows what it takes to get to the top. He's been there, done that, representing New Zealand as a 200-metre sprinter, competing at the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games. Mark has been involved with boxing since 2006. He's managed 3 fighters inside the WBO top 50, one as high as #1. He's a former high-performance director of Boxing New Zealand, and we'd like to welcome him to the lectern now. Mark Adele, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks, Stonewood Homes. I really appreciate the support. And it's been a long 6 months of sparring with Mr. Higgins, and throw a little bit of Eddie Hearn in there and a bit of Ludabella, and you get quite a seasoned meal. So we got there in the end. It's been a bit of fun. I really admire David for putting on the line. It's been a tough 8 months for events, and so for him to take all the risk and to do the show is a pretty impressive thing. I mean, I know what it's like to have gone through a tough business time, but the main thing is that you get up in the morning, you've got your friends and family, and that you can get the enjoyment out of being part of successful things. And so I really think that this fight is going to be a great fight. I mean, Junior's a big, strong guy. He's got a bit of reach and stuff, and so we'll try and take advantage of his assets. He's fought some incredible people in the amateurs. It's an absolute thrill for our team to be in the ring with a former world champ, and Joseph's achieved something that not many people in the world have achieved, and especially in the kind of gold division of heavyweights, to be in there, like David said, with a kind of living New Zealand legend is fantastic, and we're really proud to have the opportunity to put Junior in against Joseph. We obviously want to win the fight. We all know that Joseph will be the favourite, but we didn't take a fight to lose a fight either. So we're in here to win, and we'll do everything we can to win. And we'll dot every I and cross every T. We've got vicious Doug Viney over there, who actually made the Olympics in his 6th fight as a boxer. And so he's got about 200 different ways of knocking someone out. So we're really lucky to have guys like Doug and Eugene on the team to help us plan and execute a strategy to win the fight. So at the end of the day, we're here to fight and go as hard as possible. We made a big deal about just having a good, fair, clean, even playing field, and credit to Team Parker and David. We've come to some really good arrangements around that, and we look forward to getting into it on the 11th of December. So thank you, Spark Sport, and really appreciate the opportunity, and Junior's looking forward to it, and we look forward to going hard. Cool.
Thanks very much, Mark. As David Higgins touched on earlier, boxing events of this magnitude don't happen without a great deal of collaboration and months of discussions and negotiations. Duco Events has experienced great working partnerships with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, previously as co-promoters of Anthony Joshua and the Dillian White fights in the UK. Matchroom are Parker's promoters, and acknowledgement must go to Eddie Hearn for allowing Duco to run this event here in Auckland, New Zealand. Let's hear from the man himself, Eddie Hearn, now.
Ed just announced Joseph Parker against Junior Fire. They're going to collide in December. Just talk us through that fight.
Yeah, it's a brilliant fight. I mean, I have to, for once, give big props to my partner, David Higgins over there. We're co-promoting the show with him. Our first show in New Zealand, brilliant for coming for that crown as well as a future shot at the World Heavyweight title.
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to it.
Straight from the horse's mouth, ladies and gentlemen, a great promoter, Eddie Hearn, and I think you can gauge by his comments just how important this fight is going to be, not just for New Zealanders, but for global boxing fans as well. And obviously it's a great relationship, rivalry and respect between David and Eddie that has been formed over the last few years. Of course, the fight wouldn't have happened without the collaboration also of Junior Far's promoter, Lou DiBella, of New York's DiBella Entertainment, and we also have a brief message from him.
I'm holding a pen, David. I just signed the contract. It took a long time, buddy, but we got the deal done. You cut a hard bargain, but on December 11th, the people in New Zealand are going to see one of the greatest boxing matches and sporting events that they've ever seen. Joe Parker, sports icon, former world champion, entertainer, dancer, singer, the star of Quarantine, Joe Parker, boxer. On December 11th, your time's up. Your time's up, Joe. We're coming for you. Junior Fa knows that his whole life can change in one night. And on December 11th, his life's going to change. And there's going to be a new sheriff in town. And there's going to be a new star of New Zealand boxing. And then Joe will be planning a rematch. I look forward to working with Duco and your whole team, Joe. I look forward to working with Matchroom on this. It's a tremendous event. New Zealand deserves it. It's a great fight of tremendous magnitude in the heavyweight division, at home for both guys. And I couldn't be more thrilled that I'm going to be involved in this. It's particularly nice during these strange times to be involved in a mega event. I look forward to December. I look forward to the lead up, and may the best man win.
Lou DiBella, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to both Lou and to Eddie for their comments this morning. Time to get into the main event though. 19 wins, 10 by knockout, no losses in his professional career, never been beaten as a pro. 6'5", 196 centimetres tall with a 204 centimetre reach, 11 centimetres longer than Joseph Parker. Ranked number 6 in the WBO heavyweight rankings, current WBO Oriental interim heavyweight title holder, former New Zealand amateur champion, former NZPBA heavyweight champion, bronze medalist super heavyweight division 2010 Commonwealth Games representing Tonga. Over 100 rounds of sparring with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. A narrow loss to Alexander Usyk in the amateur division. Fa has beaten Joseph Parker twice as an amateur. Would you please welcome to the lectern current WBO...
Thank you for this opportunity. First of all, I got to give gratitude to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for basically blessing me and Joe for this opportunity. You know, this is a great chance for ourselves to basically promote boxing as a whole, and I plan to do that well. Thank you to my team for all the back and forth with the promoters and the managers with the contract issues. Thank you for that. It was fun. It took a while, but we got there. And you know, now I'm just excited for 11th of December, Friday, to come around. So from now to then, I'll just be training hard, making sure that I put my best foot forward, because I know this is going to be a hard fight. You know, Joseph Parker's household name, ex-world champion, great fighter, punches hard, combination puncher. So, you know, I just got to make sure that I do all that I can do so I can give myself the best chance. You know, he comes from a great home. I just, turn around and I see his parents, people that I used to see when we used to fight in the amateurs. So, like, you know, it is great to see you guys again. With the amateur background, we both have 2 wins, 2 losses to each other. So this is basically our 5th fight. It's gonna be great. You know, I can't take too much from the previous fights. They were a long time ago. We are both completely different fighters now, and the rules have changed. Basically, you know, this is a longer fight than what we had. So I'm planning for some hard rounds. I'm planning for some hard fights. So you know, so I'll just basically leave you guys with a thank you, and I look forward to December 11th.
Thank you, Junior, for your words today. Hard to believe these 2 men grew up only about a kilometre from each other. We've spoken about their record in the amateur ranks, fights against each other, but they are from the same side of this city. Joseph Parker, 29 years old, 27 wins, 21 by knockout, 2 losses. He has never been knocked out. 6'4", 193 centimetres tall with a 193 centimetre reach. Former WBO World Heavyweight Champion. Former WBO Oriental Heavyweight Champion. Former WBO Africa Heavyweight Champion. Former OPBF Heavyweight Champion. Former New Zealand National Boxing Federation's Heavyweight Champion. 2-time New Zealand Heavyweight Amateur Champion. Parker is ranked number 3 in the WBO Heavyweight rankings. Parker is New Zealand's highest ranked heavyweight. He has fought reigning heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, taking him to 10 rounds. Fought in front of a record world pay-per-view TV audience against Joshua. Fought live in front of 80,000 people against Anthony Joshua in Cardiff. Please welcome to the lectern New Zealand's highest ranked heavyweight and former WBO World Heavyweight Champion, Joseph Parker.
Hello everyone. Firstly, I want to thank our Heavenly Father for today. I'd like to thank the media, friends and family, familiar faces for attendance today. I think we have under 100 people, right? Under 100 people. I think it was open to be a lot more people here. But thank you guys. I'd like to thank our partners, Spark Sport NZME, and also our main sponsor, Stonewood Homes, for stepping up and for the work they've done to make this fight happen. I'd like to thank Hearn, Matchroom, and the Bell Entertainment, as we saw from their videos. I thank the Bell for his confidence in his fighter, but I think he's a bit wrong there. Anyway, I'd like to thank my management team, parents, David Higgins, Duca, for the work they've done behind the scenes as well to make this big fight happen. Good to see you, Junior. I think you've got a haircut to look sharp for today. Junior, thanks to you and your team, Mark Liddell, for getting the contract signed, finally. So, Junior and I, as mentioned before, we have history, 4 fights in amateurs and it's 2 wins each. And I respect Junior a lot. He's a good fighter. A lot has happened since the amateur days. You know, the professional game is a lot different, and we've both achieved a lot. And you know, he's got a good team behind him, and I'm really excited about this fight. You know, who would have thought there's 2 New Zealanders living not far from each other, ranked in the top 10 in the world? Myself ranked number 6 out of 3, and Junior ranked number 6, 7, 6, one of those ones. And so I'm really excited for this fight. Friday, December 11th. I haven't been in the ring for a while. My last fight was in February, and I got a good win. But ever since that fight, my plan was to be busy this year. I think a minimum of 3 fights. Unfortunately, the COVID has affected everyone's plans, so I've just been busy doing videos at home. But I've been training very hard. My coach is here, Coach Grant. We've been doing a lot of strength work, and I've been keeping in shape. I was ready to fight, you know, straight after my last fight. So again, thank you all for being here today. I'm very excited to be fighting. I'll be training the house down as always, eating very clean, no more burgers, no more dessert, just clean food. I'll be training very hard, sleeping well. Kids will be away. We'll get a good night's rest. and I'll be ready to put on a great performance at the end of the year. Thank you, guys.
Thanks very much, Joseph. Just for our media colleagues in the room today, we will have a chance to open the floor to questions, but in the meantime, we will just have some for our four guests at the top table to get us underway. David, firstly, for you, the timing of yesterday's alert level announcement, Tamaki Makoto coming back down to alert level 1 tomorrow night. It's great timing for the event, but just what will an event like this bring to the City of Auckland and New Zealand as a nation?
Well, on the timing, yesterday was one of those rare days where all the planets and all the stars aligned. So you had the sun was out, it was a lovely sunny day, and you had the Prime Minister announce we'd go back to level 1, and then Lou DeBella signed the contract, and that was just last night. So it was touch and go, but we got there, and it was one of those days. I think for Auckland City, boxing is a sport that has a lot of cut through. You know, a lot of team sports are played weekly, you know, every other week. The reason why boxing fascinates people, there've been more books written about boxing, more movies made than any other sport. The stakes are so high. You know, on December 11, one guy might go on to a world title shot, and the other one has to go to the bottom again and rebuild his career. There's a lot at stake, physically, health-wise, and monetarily. And so people find it fascinating, and they watch and they attend. So for Auckland City, it means hotel rooms are going to fill up, money will be spent in the economy, and Auckland and New Zealand will be put on worldwide television with a great news story. So it's, you know, it's got to be good.
Junior, a question for you. You've both mentioned your time together in the amateur ranks. A lot of water has gone under the bridge since then. How long have you wanted this shot at Joe?
Yeah, I've wanted it for a long time, you know. But I was very honest with myself. You know, I needed to work my way up. So it's more of a respectable fight when we do fight, because I really wanted this fight to be a big fight. So I didn't want it to be Joseph Parker versus this random guy, you know. So yeah, so like, you know, I wanted it. This is something that I've worked towards. Now that we're finally here, you know, I'm thankful for the teams and stuff for basically making this happen. So yeah, I've won a long time. Now I got it. Now I just got to go with both hands.
Joseph, for you, as you mentioned, last fight in February, been a lot of social media from you, but no fights. Junior has fought even further back than that. So how do you keep the motivation and the fitness ready for a shot like this?
I am very motivated to be champion of the world again. My goal is to be champion of the world, or unified champion, before I'm 35. So I have, even though I've been doing videos at home and having a lot of fun and having a lot of laughs and smiles, I've been training every single day. And I'm driven to, you know, obviously put on a good performance at the end of the year and progress to bigger fights. But I'm treating this fight as the championship of the world.
Mark, we know how long this negotiation has taken. There's been some ins and outs and back and forwards, all the usual ramifications of any boxing negotiation. Why do you think that your fighter is ready for an event like this, which could be an absolute career changer?
You know, I think for us, I mean, this is business as well as sport, and we always knew that if a certain, you know, figure came along, that Junior would take the fight. So you just have to. And of course, you know, Junior's not the kind of guy that stands up and goes, you know, I want to fight Joseph Parker, come and, you know, call me out, Joseph, let's go, Joseph. Junior's the guy that gets asked at nearly every media kind of conversation, when are you going to fight Joseph Parker, because Joseph's been so successful, and of course because they've got some history, and Junior's always said when the times, you know, I'll fight him when through the role, and that's now, you know, and I guess David made a commercial offer to Lou DeBella that was acceptable, got there, and here we go. So at the end of the day, you know, Junior wants to win the fight, DeBella wants to win the fight, the whole team wants to win the fight, and so does Joseph's team. And we know that, you know, he's got experience and been with some guys that Junior hasn't been in the fight. But, you know, like I say, Junior lost a pretty close decision to Alexander Usyk in the amateurs, who's, you know, arguably one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the pro game. He's you know, Deontay Wilder's top sparring partner, and he's done multiple rounds with Anthony Joshua. So, I mean, he's not inexperienced with being in with amazing guys, you know. and he's been in with Joseph 4 times, you know. And from what I read, they both think they both won all 4. Good on them, you know. And that's a beautiful thing, you know, because it's a different fight because these guys have got history, you know. There's not some big unknown going on here. You know, they both know each other. They're always really respectful of each other. And you know, I think we'll probably see Doug Riley and Eugene Bowen versus Kevin Barry more than Joseph and Junior, you know, pushing and shoving. And you know, no doubt that Lou Dover and David Higgins there'll be a bit of stuff still to cover off. We've got to sort out. So, I mean, we're just really chuffed to be here, to be honest. And time's right, and like Junie said, grab it with both hands and get into it.
David, you've said in the past that Junior's used Joseph Parker's name to build his own career, constantly calling out for this fight. Mark negates that point there, but why now? Why now for your fight?
Look, I think Junior was mentioning his name, but only because Mark was telling him to. And that's the game, that's how you build yourself up. Look, this fight makes perfect sense because, you know, fights happen, they should happen at the right time. There's nothing worse than when 2 guys, everyone wants to see it, but they drag it for 5 years and then it's too late. Right now they're both in their prime, they're both 2 wars amateurs, and they're both here in New Zealand in this pandemic. So I think with not a lot of other contact sport on, this will capture the public imagination, and you know, everyone's going to debate who might win, and the rest will be history.
Junior, some people will talk about the quality of fighters you fought in the professional ranks up against Joe Parker's record. What do you say to those people who might criticise and say you fought lesser opponents than Joseph Parker has?
Yeah, I said that they're absolutely right, you know. Joseph Parker has fought great champions in this time. I've just I haven't really fought any household names just yet. So, you know, I think this is just basically what I said before. This is all the reason for me to train hard and to prove myself, and to basically prove to everyone else that I am better than Joseph Parker, and I believe that for a long time.
Styles make fights. Let's go to June. Styles make fights. You never know. Heavyweight boxing, anything can happen.
You mentioned that the amateur ranks was a long time ago, Joe. So how much of an eye have you been keeping on Junior while you've been going about your business? You knew this day was coming, didn't you?
I knew it was going to come. I didn't know so soon, but it's good that it's finally here. And you always, as a heavyweight fighter or as a fan of boxing, you keep an eye on all the fighters that come through. And of course I've been keeping an eye because we had a 2-2 in the amateur days. A lot has changed and happened in the professional game, but like I said, styles make fights, so you never know. You know, one style may be different to another style, it might be better or worse, so I'm looking forward to testing myself against the style he's going to bring.
Long arms.
Long arms, big head, tall. Big head.
Mark, you mentioned the trainers, and Doug's here today, and Eugene will be quarantining after travelling with his boxers, the UFC fighters. So how does training look from here on in? How intense is this going to be for Junior over the next couple of months?
Well, City Kickboxing, all the boys train. They've got a system and a program that they have, and there's a great crew of the boys today have turned up that the Junior's training partners, and they'll treat it like every fight, and they have an amazing gym culture of performance that is something you don't really see in many places in the world, in any business. And the culture is the oil of their machine from my perspective, and the culture that they have for performance and execution is second to none. And so I think Junior takes his whole team into the ring with him and all the work, and that they're a hard working group of guys. Every single fighter in that gym. I mean, you turn up on a Monday and a Saturday for sparring, and there's 60 guys, 60 professional fighters sparring, and they all want it. It's Junior's no different, and so the preparation is just about being disciplined, and like Joseph said, it's about eating right, it's about sleeping, it's dotting I's, crossing T's, dunking yourself in ice water baths and making sure you got the right protein and veggies, and also keep the good prestige brothers.
13 months though, Junior, since your last pro bout. It's a long time. By the time this fight comes around, a year and a bit without jumping in the ring in anger. So how do you make sure that you're going to be on your game on December 11th?
Just like Mark mentioned, you know, I come from the greatest gym in the world, said kickboxing. Great, you know, just great pool of talent there, and every session's a hard session. You know, we always push each other, whether it be our conditioning or our sparring. It's just us constantly learning. So I think that's what's kept me busy throughout this time. It's just learning from the boys, learning in each sparring session. We have many styles in the gym that I come from, and you know, you just pick up something new each time we go in. So so I'm grateful for that. Also the pad sessions with Doug and Eugene, those two bring two different styles to the table. So so like I said before, I'm just constantly learning in that gym, and come fight night, I'll be able to put that on display.
Joseph, for you, Kevin Barry, I believe, is on his way back to New Zealand, may have already got here. What about training partners? What about your sparring? How is that looking, and what plan have you got in place starting today?
The sparring partners and training partners, looking good. Secret. Like I said, I've been training, so when Kevin gets here, it's just a continuation of what I've been doing already. I am in shape, I'm fit, I can go 15 rounds, but that's back in the day, so 12 rounds. And, you know, like Junior said, and like everyone knows, we're just going to be training hard every single day, putting in work, putting in the effort to prepare for 11th of December.
Home ring, fighting back in Auckland, both of you fighting in front of a home crowd, but you've been there. You understand what a global audience is like, how many millions of people will watch this fight around the world. You've been in big shows, far more than Junior has. Does that make you so much better prepared for an event of this scale than it does for Junior?
You know, it's prepared me, and I'm not, you know, once I train hard, when I get to the ring, I'm just focused on putting the best performance I can. And, you know, I'm not really that nervous anymore as long as I work hard. But I'm sure he's mentally strong as well, and he backs himself, and that's the reason why he's signed this fight today. So we both back ourselves, we signed the fight, so let's get it on.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time, gentlemen. As I said, media will have a chance to ask four men up at the top table some questions in just a few moments' time. But this isn't just about a boxing promotion. This isn't just about a partnership between Duco, Matchroom, DeBella Entertainment. This is also about a wonderful new advancement between Duco and a couple of very special partners. And to introduce that partnership, David Higgins, back to the lectern.
Okay, so tickets to this fight on December 11 will be from $69 available at Ticketmaster from Thursday. And for anyone who's went to the Joseph Parker victory over Andy Ruiz Jr. to win the world title, or the Tua Cameron fight, or any of the others, they'll remember the hair standing up on the back of their necks, especially during that ring walk. So nothing beats being there live. That being said, not everyone can be there live for various reasons. And so we're making the fight available on television again. And so on that note, I'd like to announce an innovative new partnership that we're particularly excited about with Spark Sport broadcaster and NZME as media partner. You know, I have to say, I mentioned several parties for get credit, otherwise we wouldn't be here today, and obviously Stonewood Homes. There was the three-way partnership between Duco, DeBella and Matchroom, but this domestic partnership was also absolutely critical. I sat down with my old mate Paul Hancox from NZME a few months ago in the middle of the pandemic, wondering what to do, and we sort of cooked up a bit of a plan, and it led to this great partnership. So I won't labour it, I'll let them speak for themselves. I think we've got Jeff Latch here from Spark Sport and Shane Curry from NZME.
Thank you, David. Yes, the Stonewood Homes Joseph Parker Junior Far fight on December 11 will be pay-per-view. It is an innovative new partnership between NZME and broadcaster Spark Sport. First of all, to speak about this new partnership, Jeff Latch, ladies and gentlemen.
Kia ora koutou, everyone. It's tremendously exciting to be here today announcing this three-way partnership between Duco, NZME and Spark Sport to bring Kiwis an outstanding sports event. As David says, the New Zealand fight of the century between these two incredibly talented athletes. This is Spark Sport's second major pay-per-view event after the recent White versus Povetkin event, and it's going to be another cracker. With Duco's expertise in the creation of high-profile sporting events, NZME's power and reach across their radio, print and digital channels, and Spark Sport's streaming and production expertise, we have a powerful partnership to bring the best boxing events to New Zealand viewers. We know Kiwis love their boxing, and it doesn't get any better than two Kiwi-born opponents with so much in common but so much rivalry, meeting each other in the heart of our biggest city at the Spark Arena. Bring it on. We're honoured to be exclusively delivering Kiwis all the action via Spark Sport. You know, what's especially good about this is that most boxing and combat sports fans are really used to streaming the biggest local and international events, and this is just going to be another one in that train of events. So if you haven't already, get yourself signed up to Spark Sport and get yourself fight ready. And chaps, if you've got any issues in terms of sparring partners, I'm available. Bit of a boxer in my day, so don't you worry. Just give me a yell. And all the best for what I'm sure is going to be a fantastic event. Bring it on. Cheers.
Thank you, Jeff. I don't think you meant that, did you? Seriously. Joe's eyes just lit up when you offered. As we've mentioned, this is a three-way partnership between Duco, Spark Sport and NZME, and we're thrilled to have representing NZME today, Managing Editor of the New Zealand Herald, Mr. Shane Curry, to explain how his part in this works. Shane.
Kia ora, everybody. Welcome along. It's great to see so many familiar faces here. And thank you, Scotty. Thank you, team. What a great announcement this morning that we're all involved in. From my point of view, I'm here representing all of NZME, and obviously nzherald.co leading the charge on this particular event. But there's a lot of people who have been involved in the last few months getting this deal together, and we're just elated that after such a horrific year that we can end it in sensational style. I think David, you mentioned it's more than just a sporting event. It's a massive news story across the world, not just here in New Zealand. And so you'll see some really special coverage coming out of our stable in the next 10 weeks, as I'm sure we'll see across the media environment. Particularly special that we've teamed up with Spark Sport and Jeff's team. And David, thank you to you and Duco for all the help and assistance that you've given us. And finally, just a huge good luck to the two boxers. I certainly won't be putting myself forward as a sparring partner. But Joseph, it's been wonderful getting to know you in the last few weeks as we've got the deal to the table. And Junior, I look forward to a similar situation. So good luck and end the year in style. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Shane, and hello to everyone watching the live stream at the moment. It's out there on nzherald.co. We're going to open the floor for some questions now. Again, a reminder to our gathered media here, there will not, unfortunately, be one-on-ones with our two fighters today, so this is your chance to ask both Junior and Joseph the questions that you need for today's coverage or tonight's bulletins. There will be a chance to have one-on-one interviews with David, Mark, Jeff and Shane a little bit later. But the floor is yours, and we'd like to open that for questions now. So take it away, Andrew Gordy.
Junior, just going to start with you. You mentioned before that you felt for a long time that you were better than Joseph Parker, and this is your chance to prove that. I just want to ask you, why has this fight taken so long, and why is now the right time to fight Joe?
Like I said before, what I wanted this fight to be is I wanted it to basically be a big fight. I believe that I've been better than Joseph Parker for a long time, and that it makes sense to me trying to take on this fight without people in New Zealand knowing who I am, because it's such a rugby nation. Boxing's kind of put in the back pocket. People don't really know boxing, but they know Joseph Parker. So yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to do, was to basically build on my profile COVID-19 definitely has slowed that down for me, and this fight just basically was there. So now's the basically right time to do it, because if I don't fight this fight, there's basically no one else to fight. So it's come at the right time, and I basically thank Juco for I basically thank Dave and Juco for putting the show on at this time that the world is in. So yeah.
I also think it's good to note that in boxing it's a development sport. You know, you start off as like a 400 metre runner and you end up being a 10,000 metre runner. And so, you know, when Junior's kind of building along, just like what Joseph did, he didn't fight a 10, 12 round fight in his first fight. You know, and so it's a different sport. So when you leave the amateurs, you've done 3 threes, and then you end up going to 12 threes, and that's quite a different race to run. And at the end of the day, you know, Joseph's been in quite a few long fights. You know, even 12 rounds with Ruiz, the first guy to beat him. You know, Ruiz famously knocked out Joshua, and Joseph's the guy with the first guy that, you know, put that notch on his belt. And he went 12 rounds with Joshua and 12 rounds with White. I mean, he's an exceptionally experienced, long fighter. And so before you put a guy in the ring, you've got to make sure that your guy has some experience at that level as well. You can't just go, hey, let's do a 12-round fight. You know, you've never fought 36 minutes in your life. So I think that's why it takes time, just because of the development of the fighter, changing the sport, essentially.
Thanks, Corey. We'll come back to you, sir. Matt Monakia, One News.
Junior, I know Eugene said a lot of your training has already been targeted at Joe, and I think you wanted this fight to happen last year. So realistically, how long have you been preparing for Joe mentally, and yeah, just how things have been going on that front?
Like every now and then we would be working on certain things that would work against Joe, not specifically training for Joe. You know, we were always like, you know, training like specific things, but never actually focused on Joe, just because we know that this fight was definitely going to happen. So, like, you know, it was just stuff that we'll train and just keep in our back pocket. Now was the time to really develop those skills and those techniques that we worked on before. And yeah, just, so just train those skills and then bring them out on fight night.
And for you, Joe, then, on the other hand, how long have you realistically been thinking about him?
How long have I been thinking about him? He's always in the, you know, obviously in New Zealand, and with everything that's happening, that's when I started thinking about it when David sort of brought it to my attention. So I think with this camp that we have now, which we have about 9 weeks until fight day, this is when I'll really focus on what I have to do to prepare for Junior, the style that he brings, and, you know, his coaches and his whole team.
Yeah, Joe, I know you both say that the fights were a long time ago and a lot has changed, but what do you remember from those 4 amateur fights that you did?
I thought I won all 4. Actually, I mean, where do we have the freshman? Rotorua, right?
2009.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Rotorua. I think you won the first one.
That's why he remembers it.
It's a long time ago. Let me bring up my diary. So a lot has changed since then. So we're a lot different fighters now, and I guess that's what makes it exciting for fight night, because amateur days are amateur days. Now we're both professionals, have done pretty good, and I guess it's just time now to see who the best is. Let's settle the score.
Joe, the last time we had the fight of the century was Tua Cameron. There was a huge build up to that fight. There was a sense that the timing was right for Shane Cameron, and he found out within a couple of minutes that he was completely out of his depth. Is there a chance, or can you tell us, on December 11, is Junior going to find out that he's out of his depth fighting you?
He's just going to find out that he's in the ring with me, and there's no one else there. Mark Adele's not going to be there talking, hyping him up. And same, I want to find out what he's going to bring. So it doesn't. David Tua and Shane Cameron was a massive fight. The reason why this is a big fight is because we're both ranked in the top 10, both from South Auckland. We both have history, so the time is right. You know, everyone has worked together to put this fight on at the right time. There's no other fight out there. This is the fight. We're both from New Zealand. Let's get it on.
David Kendrick.
Joe, this is the first time in a long time you haven't had a build up in Vegas. And obviously, I think part of your reason for basing yourself there is their sparring partners. How is that going to work out this time? Have you got some guys lined up?
Yeah, we've been working, David's been working behind the scenes to bring some guys in. A little harder with the restrictions, David.
Yep, it's a work in progress, and so we've got a plan to bring in some necessary sparring partners. It's actually a skill set that's very rare and not otherwise available in New Zealand. You know, trying to find someone that's proficient at boxing who resembles junior fighter's style. So it kind of fits the glove for getting government dispensation to bring in a sparring partner, but that's something we're working on with the government and seeking to bring in the right person for the job.
Just over here, guys.
Yeah, this one's for Junior. Junior, this is probably, this is definitely going to be the biggest fight in your career, and it's going to be built up a lot from now for the coming weeks. I mean, how do you plan to handle the occasion?
Basically not take it too seriously, I've been for the next couple of weeks in terms of like interviews and stuff. I know I'm going to be put into a world that I'm not really used to, and in terms of like like the cameras on me, the lights are on me. So that part I'm not going to take seriously, but I'm just going to do the same old thing, just train hard, and keep my focus on where it counts, which is in the gym, which is when I work hard. So yeah, so really it's just the same.
Can you lean on Israel for support in that regard? How helpful is he for you in this build-up?
Yeah, he's very helpful, and not just him, but all of the boys, the boys at the UFC, the boxing boys that I have here, the kickboxers at the gym. Like I said before, we have a deep pool of talent in CKB, and they all bring something different to the table, which I can feed off, and that's what I constantly try to do.
Elliot Smith.
Thanks, Scotty. Joe, with the night of 2021 and hoping the borders might be open again, how much is this fight about re-establishing yourself and perhaps getting a knockout with a nice international fighter?
Yeah, this is a big fight. I mean, it's a risky fight. If I lose, then obviously I have to reassess myself as a fighter and my plans. And if he wins, he'll be elevated to go up further. But if I win, then in good fashion, then I'll be lining up to fight some bigger fights. Hopefully the borders open up in 2021, and it'll be a lot closer to fighting for a world title, which is what I want to do.
Matt Montier.
Just one for David. Do you still look to bring the sparring partner in from Italy? I think he had a really bad cut.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So that was the plan, but his cut's so bad that as of late Sunday night, he's not the guy. So we're quickly working on replacement who adhere to all the safety regulations, quarantine, and go through the correct process with the government. We're just hoping that we're treated equitably because our first application got knocked back, and the reason stated was that the skill is available in New Zealand. So whoever the government knocked it back must be an expert at boxing. So,
Hemi will fight Grego if that helps the get him in.
No, he's cut.
Oh, he's got to be cut.
So anyway, we're going to follow the correct process, and if we have problems, we'll let you know.
Yeah, just one follow-up for David and Mark. What can you guys say about what's yet to still be agreed before the fight actually happens?
No, I think all the niggly things are agreed, largely, aren't they?
I think we're still holding the contract. David and I are going to have a weekend of tennis afterwards.
Here's the thing, they've signed it, but I haven't.
Lou has signed the contract, and I think Junior and Joseph have got to put their thing on.
Cool, one last one. It looks like you've got your broadcast stuff in place, but how badly do you need the ticket money, and what happens if we go back into lockdown?
Oh, look, people get obsessed with TV in boxing. They think it's all about the TV. No, it's not. All revenue is important. It's like a pie. Tickets are a slice of the pie, TV sponsorship. For this particular fight, there were so many people to please and mouths to feed, maximising, that it's actually quite a tight budget, and we do need ticket money. So if it'll run at level 1. And if we're not at level 1, it'll just reschedule, which is commonplace in boxing. You recall the Tour Cameron fight. Cameron injured, the fight was moved out 4 or 5 months, and it just got bigger. So the fight's going to happen. It's going to happen on December 11. If we have to reschedule, we will, but it's not a big deal. Boxing happens all the time.
For both partners, you guys are both from Pacific descent, both from South Auckland. How big, how significant, that's a headline, a big boxing event here in New Zealand. How significant is that where you guys both come from?
Yeah, it's great. It'll be great for us to basically put on a good night and put on a great performance so that the young boys and the young girls coming up, and whichever sport they choose, they can basically see that there is a way for us to basically live out our dreams. I'm pretty sure that they do that with Parker already, and also saw the way that he went about his career as well. Those are always people that you see growing up, and you see that the path that they can go, which basically puts confidence in yourself that you can also do the same. So I'm planning to do that for myself as well, come December 11th.
Yeah, we're both from South Auckland. Sometimes South Auckland gets a bad rap, but we are now headlining the card on the December 11th. How exciting is that? We're going to have a good undercard as well. Very good undercard.
Happy? Everyone happy from a media point of view? One more?
I've got a question for David Higgins. Joe mentioned there's going to be the styles will come into play on the night, and I'm just wondering who you think has the most advantaged style and why, and also what's your prediction for the night? Who's going to win and how?
Yeah. So I think Junior is, in my opinion, Junior's more likely. If he wins, he's more likely to win on points, but you never know. We all saw Mark Cadell beat Anthony Joshua. Sorry, it was Anthony Wood, this is my mistake. But we all saw upsets happen. So
I'll never beat any of the race, just so you know.
Look, seriously though, I think Joe will be looking for a dominant performance and needs it. This is going worldwide, might have 1 billion viewers. For Joe to win by stoppage in 3 rounds would be great statements and to be right back in title contention. That's what I'll be hoping happens, but I'll touch wood, I'm not going to place any bets on it.
Matt?
Just one last one from me, boys. Joe and Junior, on the press release here, it says you guys are from the same Mormon church. Surely that's not the same ward, is it?
No.
It's the awkward Sunday after the fight.
Mormon church is different wards.
I'm just curious. There doesn't really seem to be any bad blood here. There seems to be a tremendous amount of respect between you two. Can you give us a sense, what is the actual relationship here? Because this is something that you're both talking about has been building up for a long time. Is there any bad blood here at all from your perspective, and can hear from you as well?
I think we're just two boys who grew up the same, We both got brought up by good parents with some good morals, in a good church. So that brings about a certain way that you carry about yourself. And I have no contention for Joe, as you see. He's got contention for me. So we keep things very respectable and very professional, but we definitely know at the end of the day we're going to punch each other's heads.
And I'm interested in the mentality here as well, because you were talking about building up this for a long time. It feels like this is kind of for want of a bit of a phrase, I suppose, like a grand final fight, whereas Joe's talking about still wanting to be the heavyweight champion of the world. Joe's already had 2 losses in his career, and a third one to you would end his career. Are you out to end Joe's career?
Oh, that's a big Joe. In his career, I think... No, I don't think 5 years. That's just a big Joe.
He's a nice guy.
What's a nice guy?
I think we'll call time there, but I think as Junior's pointed out, and it's a fair enough question because we've got 2 very humble, talented men at this table. Well, 4 actually, but the 2 fighters, involved bring all of their humility and class to a day like today. But I'd just like to thank everyone for being here today. We are going to have our face-off in just a moment's time. But on behalf of Duco Events, Matchroom UK, DeBella Entertainment New York, Spark Sport and NZME, I'd like to thank you all for being here at this announcement. We're all excited about the Stonewood Homes Parker Far Fight of the Century, December 11. Stonewood Homes, Spark Sport, NZME, DAZN, Matchroom and DeBella Entertainment are all thrilled to be a part of this. We're going to move this table out of the way and we're going to have the face-off. Cameras are invited forward so you can... But ladies and gentlemen, get excited, and again a big thank you to our two fights, Junior Farr and Joseph Parker.
Yep. Lawrence. Go, Jen. You got the phone down, please. Cheers.
Go, Joe.
Hang on. David, can you just get a bit of separation? Yeah. Yeah. Get your fists up, fellas, please. Thank you. Yeah, just back at the camera here, Junior, please. Thank you. All right, looking at each other, both fists up, please. Yeah, a bit closer. Great. Thank you. Bring your right fist up, Junior. Yeah. Bring your left up, Joe, can you? Yeah, thank you. And looking back at the cameras, guys, please. Thank you. Thanks, fellas.
This way, guys.
You want some group shots with the partners, sponsors?
Got Jeff and Shane here, Jeff Latch and Shane Curry from Spark Sport and NZME. If you'd like to come forward, along with David, to have your photo with the boxes. Sparring partner has entered the photo.
Where's Mark? You want to get Mark Cadell as well?
Mark Cadell, if you're around, mate. Come on up, buddy. Jump on the other side of the journey, mate. You good?
Thanks, gentlemen. Just over here, please. Mark, hands out pockets. Here we go. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Thanks, Jeff.
Presenting a brave new world for pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen. David Higgins, Joseph Parker, Shane Curry, Jeff Latch, Junior Farr, Mark Cadell.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. And I think of our Stonewood Homes family